It's really cool to have you, and let's make it really interactive, comfortable. Sit you on the front row. Come, and we would just make a POAP with you. Like, we're going to show you how it's done. It's a simple thing. As we told before, it's an open protocol. Everyone can use it. If you have a community to engage with, make POAPs. It's going to be fun.
Yes. Hi. How are you? Hi, everyone. Thank you a lot for being here, because first of all, we got the sun coming up, and the main thing that you gotta take from this conversation is that everyone can do POAPs. A POAP is a free protocol that needs a bit of time, a bit of love, but then it works, and then it's just share memories. And the fact that you're here, guys, show me that you want to learn, and basically you will understand that there is some sites and some guides to read, but most importantly, you should always know that you can always make your POAP for free for every event that needs to be memorable. Like, it could be a birthday, it could be a dinner, it could be a Zoom call. Whatever is good enough to be memorable, it can be a POAP, right?
So, yeah. Cool. So we're going to talk about two main things. First is to understand that you're going to create your drop, you're going to create your NFT, you're going to create your POAP first. That's the first step. And then there is the second step, is to choose how are you going to distribute it. Since you can have a remote event, we can have a real life event. The ways to distribute a POAP will depend on the event type, let's say. So, and what we're going to do today with Lucas is try to give you some tips about how to think when you're doing it, in order not to be, for example, typically the typical mistake you could do is not properly give the POAP the meaning that the collector should have for himself, or give him a reason to hold that POAP. Since it's a souvenir, it's a memory also. So if you just make like an advertising of your project, it won't make sense to collect it. It's just, it has to make sense for the person that holds it.
For example, a company that we were working with, or trying to work with, was expecting to put a POAP on a marketing sign in order to make the engagement with the marketing, with the publicity. And we said, well, that's not a good use case, because first of all, do you remember every signs that you see on the street? I don't. And should we? I think we don't. We shouldn't. And so basically, what the company got wrong is that engaging is for engaging with your community, not with anyone passing by. And that person passing by, if they're taking a POAP, they should remember that. So that's why we're not working with them yet, because we need to tell them, well, giving them that intuition that it's not about just marketing, it's about memories.
Yeah, and also, and we're gonna have time to see, because at the end it's a form. You're gonna fill a form, and you're gonna have your POAP. So it's not so difficult.
It's
at the
not
end.
that difficult.
Just yeah, one of the main point is, since we're having an exponential growth, since we minted the last million POAP in only 1 month, one of the core problems that POAP needs to solve is how to control that millions of people around the world are not making POAPs that doesn't mean anything, because that can be a problem at a big scale for us if there's plenty of POAP that doesn't mean nothing. So the rules of validating a drop has become a little bit more strict, and we're making a lot of efforts in order to try to maintain the ethics of the project, and for people to do that in a secure way. I'll give you an example. There's some malicious, for example, persons or people that will make a POAP, then try to change the image, then try to sell it as another type of NFT, like the PFP, part of a collection of PFP. So you can, since it's an NFT, you can do a lot of things that can attempt to the security, and it's important for the protocol to be able to control in a way that when you make a POAP, you use it for the good reasons.
And talking about security, there is a super hands-on talk that is coming from Ledger and securing your NFTs. So stay. I will.
Yeah, POAPs are free NFT, and they're even completely under pressure of attacks, and even free things are all the time being attacked. There are people farming POAPs all the time. There are people that will prepare a drop, and that drop will be farmed by other persons, other part of the world. They're going to take all the POAPs, and there's no POAP anymore to distribute. There are real problems. And we don't know what they want why they want the POAPs, but they want them. They have thousands of them. They just collected. I don't know why.
No, I mean, Patricio, the founder, and the core team says to us that basically it's people that assume that those POAPs might be worth a lot since, the Bitcoin story, right? A couple of years ago, people would say, why would I want a Bitcoin? What is that? Why would I pay for that? And then, well, now I want Bitcoins. So basically there's people scanning the internet, scanning Twitter, scanning Twitch, scanning Discord, scanning everything that they can to get Twitter, to get POAP links, and to get all the POAPs that they can. And that's why, besides thinking about the artwork, the title, some information that you will see here that are basically metadata, right? The artwork, the title, that's okay. But it's very important to think about the distribution channel, because the curation team will be great. Every POAP gets validated by the curation team, and if it looks like you're gonna be farmed, then the curation team might not give you all the POAPs that you want to issue, or even reject your proposition.
So let's go into it. This is just a quick look. You're old enough to understand this. Go to the page. You go to the FAQs.
What page, Tommy?
POAP.xyz. So you're gonna find the way onto the help part, and you're gonna need to go to this page. That is /admin/events. It's an open public page, so don't worry about that. And then you're gonna hit that big button, and we're gonna talk about the fields you need to fill. Yeah. So those are the main two things you're gonna have to fill correctly in order for the validation team the curation body to validate your POAP. This is very important. And the principal tip I can give you that is it's gonna solve all your problems is just put you on the shoes of the collector. Think as you were the person that will collect the POAP, not as you as an issuer that want to distribute, and maybe you have a reason to do it, maybe you have a plan, maybe you have a project. It doesn't really matter if it doesn't make sense to the person that is collecting. So you need to put a good title that allows the person that have it to remember a moment. Normally, it's important to put some information about the context. If we are in Lisbon on a conference, just put at NFC Conference Lisbon. It's gonna put all the sense around the fact that when they collected a POAP, it was a moment on their life. It's attached to a memory. Well, okay, I'm not going to repeat that all the time, but it's important, and it's going to make you pass much more faster the validation process. Then the body of the description. This is metadata, and it's useful because if POAP fulfill the promise, maybe we're gonna have POAPs that you collected 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. At some point, you're gonna have plenty, and you're gonna know a little bit more about why you have that POAP. So be concrete, but explain what happened that day, what's the reason the collector should have. For example, I'll put information about the context, and maybe Lucas, you want to add something?
Yes. Again, what Thomas says is exactly that. You should think 2 years from your POAP creation, and why would people laugh about it? Why would people smile about it? What should I check on? Would be the artwork that we need to talk about it, or a description that says, okay, this was a worthwhile moment in my life, and if you got only that piece of reasoning, you're on the top 1%. You cannot imagine the kind of crap that we see. So think about the collectors and why should I smile about your POAP 2 years from now, and that makes all of the sense. So
Typically, we're doing.
okay, Tom.
Yes. I'm going to try, when I'm going to do it at the same time that Lucas speaks, I'm going to try to do the POAP of this gathering. So you have that an example. The idea is just to say, for example, here you're going to say, you were the one, or you were part of the participants of the workshop we made in Lisbon, in the conference. Thank you for coming. This is a reward. This is something that the people can relate to, and not just workshop, NFC, conference, go boom.
Bye-bye. Should be better than that.
It should have a value for the person, and normally why we're giving it is because you will have a reward to come, and we want to thank you. So that can be written on the description.
So Thomas is going to fill the description. I think it might be a bit shorter than what he just said, because if not, we're going to stay here forever. But then, so that field, and then, well, I will tell you orally, because then we're going to do it a bit faster. But basically, it can be online, meaning a Twitter space can be a POAP, of course. A Zoom call, as I said, can be a POAP if it's memorable enough, right? Not all of the Zoom calls are memorable. And then that's why there is a field here that says virtual drop or not. Basically, if it's virtual, if it happens on the internet, you should put virtual. In this case, this is not virtual. We're here, I think. And so you're completing the geolocation. Then there is one of the most important field on relating to date. It's expiry date, meaning that after that date, no one will be able to mint the POAP of that event, right? So we generally give 1 month, because we'll create links and we'll share that with you, and we'll have the distribution mechanism to think with you right now. But the expiry date is the moment where no one ever will be able to mint that POAP anymore. So yes, we have a question here.
Yes, thank you. The virtual drop button, what does it do besides blurring the city and the country?
Just metadata.
Okay.
It's just information about the POAP, about the events, just that.
It will erase the field about the location, because it's on the internet.
This is, okay, we're talking about this. This is the other super important thing.
Yes, and this is very, very important, and as you can see, in the POAP form, it doesn't, I mean, this is your work also. This is the part where you think also how 2 years from now, that little piece of artwork will be captivating enough to wanting to check it again, right? And there is not much we can do for you now, in this case. I mean, there is some technical aspect of it, but like being a PNG or not being completely super heavyweight file. That's technical. What you gotta think, and also what the curation team is very, very, very picky about it, is that the artwork should express some form of caring. Right? If you just put a letter, that's not great, or that's very bad. If you just put your logo and you're assuming that all your POAPs have your logo because it's you issuing, that's not good. The artwork should represent the moment. And as you can see, there is not much information besides the technical, and also the artwork crystallize everything that we wanted to say you today here, is that people checking their collection 2 years from now will want to click on that artwork to see the information because the moment was memorable. So a letter, a D letter, or a P from POAP is not memorable. It's maybe a picture of this, or maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, Thomas, go ahead.
Very important thing, guys. Artwork is the thing that is going to put your drop delayed or on an urgency because you forgot that it was the main thing that you needed to solve before creating the POAP. So artwork is the only thing you cannot change once you created the POAP. You can change the metadata after that, since it's only metadata, but the artwork is part of the security. If you then change the artwork and you put an ape, and then you try to sell it, it's bad for us. So, so we're gonna let you change the artwork. Never. So, main problem of communities. I have an event in 2 days. I want a POAP. Okay, they fill the form. They didn't realize they didn't do the artwork. And
I will put a P because
Yes.
it's an event. We start with a P. No, that's
so
not good.
start by the artwork. Take care of that. Try to do it as beautiful as you can. Work with a designer. Do a beautiful thing, and then create the POAP. That's very important. And you're not going to be able to change it. So, well, then there's stuff that you're going to understand by your own. You have an edit code. That's it.
You will receive by email. So whenever you fill the form, you will receive an email because, as you can see, we ask you for your email to send you the proper edit information. We have a question here.
Where do you store these metadata?
The metadata is not on-chain. We're working on our decentralization mission, but it stores on the POAP servers.
Okay,
But we understand that it's not the best answer that the Web3 decentralization movement has.
Yes.
But it allows for some correction whenever you missed out some letters or you want to change the dates. But then after, there's an idea to put information on chain after a couple of years after the event. The information will go on chain because then it doesn't make sense to change it.
Yeah, and don't forget that maybe a thing that is important. Don't forget that blockchain is a really shitty type of database, and it's not sometimes Web 2 it's cool also and it works and it goes faster. So putting some images on a server, I think it doesn't really.
No, well, it depends, but we'll have that conversation later.
I know.
We're not talking about decentralization.
Another question. Yes, but we're not going to be able to create the POAP today because we didn't have an artwork for today. Yeah.
So it sounds like this is all backwards looking, but so in a use case where, let's say we have a few pop-ups in Lisbon, and we're distributing a POAP, and then later create a gated community or gated experience, and then have the main event. Is that a valid use case?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great question, and yes, the use case is exactly what many brands do, if I understood correctly. That is, there's a there's a pop-up event that has a POAP, and that being part of that pop-up event where the POAP was distributed, that POAP can be the ticket for another event later. But this is a very good question and very tied to confusion. A POAP can be a ticket to something, but it's the fact that they were somewhere before, right? It's not, the event is going to be in 2 days, I will send you the POAP to come in. No, because the POAP needs to be something to be remembered first. Then, if that memory, that momento allows you to go somewhere else, that's great. But it's about, if it's not memorable, it's not a POAP.
Yeah, it's important for us not to be a ticketing company, and it's a ethical. There was another question? No.
Yes. Here.
Oh, yeah.
So don't you think a POAP is a form of rank? Rank.
Yes. Well,
Because I believe that I would like a checkbox where if I click, then the POAP is not transferable to anyone. Okay.
that's a super valid question, and there's people saying that POAP will be the next CV, curriculum vitae, because of the places you've been, and also the learning that you're doing. There is also academic. I don't know, one of our partners here will do a POAP for an Imperial College academic course, and that's a very good question. And even Vitalik Buterin, in a blog post he made in February called Soulbound, talks about the NFTs, that some NFTs shouldn't be transferable. That's a great question. Read the blog post. He talks about his POAP collection. So that's a great evangelizer, Vitalik Buterin. But it's a great question, and the answer that I have to you now is that check doesn't exist now. It's not on the plan to exist because if the POAP gets transferred, it's still written on the blockchain. That transfer is written. So anyone that wants to enforce the non-transferability of their POAPs can check if the POAP that they have issued got transferred from one wallet to another. So it is checkable. But it's checkable in the sense that you read the blockchain. It's not checkable in the sense that you check that and says no. But great, check Soulbound, Vitalik blog post, and there's a great reflection about that.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but are POAPs also stored in the wallet just as NFTs?
Completely. They are NFTs.
Oh, okay.
They are NFTs as any other NFTs you are. There's just they're free.
Cooler.
Yeah. Now there are NFTs exactly as the other. This is kind of the big potential about POAP is that once you gave a POAP to your community, you have unlocked all the potential of any other type of NFT. It's just an NFT. You can use it as a credential for gated communities, for gated things, gated world, gated Web3, and all the things we speak all the time about that.
So as you said, that's not on chain. There's no necessity to
It
pay.
is not. Yeah.
It's on chain.
Yeah. The only thing it's not on chain is the metadata of the POAP. For example, the image is not stored on the blockchain, but everything that's secure, the fact that that image is associated to that POAP is on the blockchain. There are hash, there are technical ways to do that.
So in order to mint a POAP, do you have to pay gas fees?
No. Okay, so we're going to explain that. In order to, when you handle a POAP, you kind of say to people, this is a souvenir for a party, pay $200 for gas fees.
Yes.
Okay, so
That's a shitty souvenir.
yeah, so what we did for that is we're using a side chain of Ethereum that is called Gnosis chain, and it's already a proof of stake blockchain. So
It's a sidechain from Ethereum.
yeah.
That's why it works with your normal Ethereum wallet,
So-
Ethereum address.
So two main principal pros. One, gas fees are really low,
And we pay
and
for
we
it.
are paying for them. And the second, it's green. It's not proof of work, and a lot of people is concerned about that. We are concerned about that, and that's important for us to mint 4 million POAPs in a green way and not in a...
Yeah, greenish.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so we
That
pay.
answer the question, okay.
Do we have another question?
Yeah.
So there's also migration to the mainnet. Is this really a thing for you? I have the feeling that you don't focus on migration to Ethereum. I think there's a price tag of 0.1 ETH right now. So is this a topic?
I have two answers for that. The first is we are giving the possibility to anyone that wants to migrate it to mainnet to do it, paying the gas fees. But this is a project that has become a standard on the ecosystem, and we have more and more integrations that makes displaying your POAP as easy as just connecting to Rainbow Wallet, connected to Ledger, and you just don't need to migrate it to mainnet. One day, maybe you want to sell it on OpenSea for a specific reason because that POAP has an utility that makes the people want to buy. But this is a really exceptional case in a way, and it really allows you to pay the fees, and maybe it makes sense. But the idea is POAP, yeah.
You said that you cover the fees for all the transactions. But how sustainable is that? I mean, we've seen other projects that cover the fees maybe on other side chains, like let's say the Axie Infinity with Ronin chain, and then at some point they decided that they're going to launch their token and partially decentralize whatever project they're doing to cover the fees. But I mean, moving forward,
yes.
and the level of and the intensity, exponential growth
Don't worry.
of POAP.
Don't worry, because Gnosis chain minting is like kind of really cheap. Like maybe, I think I've done the calculation last December, maybe minting 1 million POAP is in the order of $3-4K. So we pay it, it's not that expensive. And if Gnosis chain becomes something way more expensive, we'll find a solution. But Patricio, and that is the founder, and POAP has really a mission to be a public good. So POAP will be free forever, and if at some moment the main chain that we're using to mint them is not sustainable enough in an economic way, POAP will find a solution. But POAP wants to be a public good that anyone that wants to preserve their memories on the blockchain should have the chance and the possibility to do it.
To the guys from the organizations, do we have 5 minutes more, or we need to? 5 minutes more. Okay. I want to talk about distribution. But I'm going to talk just in 1 minute, but 3 minutes. Okay. 3 minutes, 3 distribution methods. Okay. So once you hit the button, what you're going to receive is the number of POAPs you asked for, and you're going to receive an email. That email has a file in which you have as many mint links as you asked, and those mint links are unique mint links that can be used only once for one wallet, and then they don't serve anymore. So you cannot share them, because if someone that wants to collect the POAP share the link, then then someone else has the POAP. Then you have to decide how you're going to distribute the POAPs. You can just handle mint links. Mint links are URLs. Mint URLs to people by handing QR codes, for example. This is a really old school way, but it works really well. You have different QR codes, different business cards, and then you handle to people, and you're giving them something. You're also associated the fact that you're engaging, you're giving a gift. The gift is an NFT also. It's cool to do it, even if it's simple and old school. That's the first distribution method. The second is to create what we call a POAP website. POAP website will give you the chance of handling only one URL, and it's easy to communicate. You can paste that URL somewhere, you can show it, but it has pros and it has cons. The cons: anyone can mint. If you show the link, you're gonna have your POAP formed, probably. So some tips when you create a website. First, never share it before the event. We know hundreds of cases of people that shared before the event on a website, and then they didn't have POAPs anymore to distribute when the event arrived. So don't share it to anyone. Then use it for live scanning for short periods of time. There are really people trying to guess the URLs of the website you choose. When you create a POAP, you put, for example, a workshop, POAP workshop. Then you want to choose your URL, you put POAP workshop also in the URL. The guys, since POAP are public, events are public, POAP creations are public, they're going to guess the URL and they're going to have the POAP. So put something complicated, put some numbers, some random things on the URL name, and then just keep it open for, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just a short period of time. You have the possibility to activate it and deactivate it manually, and that's it.
Well, as we need to go, put our Twitter. If you have questions, just hit us up on the Twitter, POAPFR, and basically I think we really need to go. So.